morning, folks. Rob here inside the Bob Cave. Just wanted to take a few minutes to ramble on a little bit about the comic book movie genre. Before the success of MCU that started with Jon Favreau's Iron Man, thanks to Marvel and Paramount, we got to go back to 1997, 98 to remember the success of Blade. Without the success of Blade, we wouldn't have had 20th Century Fox giving Bryan Singer any money to do X-Men 1, which I truly believe that the X-Men movies are the ones that are responsible for what we have today in the MCU. What I mean by that is those movies made a lot of money, and it started with the co-chairman of 20th Century Fox at the time, Tom Rothman, believing, Bryan Singer. Now, a lot of people would think, well, it was a no-brainer. Bryan Singer, he's great. Yes, he was good. But at that time, the movies he had made was At Pupil, which was fantastic. It starred, Sir Ian McKellen. And then he also had Usual Suspects. And yes, Kaiser Sose, that cast, incredible. But that's far different from the comic book genre, an action-packed movie. Bryan Singer is also an ultimate fanboy, and he truly believed in the property. Surprisingly, he was able to get Tom Rothman to give him a decent budget to go to make X-Men 1. And then we ended up getting X-Men 2, which to me, it's kind of like the Empire Strikes Back of the comic book movies. It's nearly flawless. So I just want to give big credit to Bryan Singer, but I really got to give credit to the guy on top of him, Tom Rothman, that he believed Bryan Singer enough to give him a good budget and give him the green light on this feature film. Now, we could argue the fact that some of the movies that 20th Century Fox made in the comic book genre were a mess, and that's going to be the Fantastic Four movies. Now, they were commercially successful, and that's why we ended up getting two of them, and a lot of kids enjoyed it. And they did take Fantastic Four into more of a kiddie, child, children, movie that was really catered more to the 8 to 12-year-olds instead of adults that X-Men 1 and X-Men 2 were. So those were a bit of a failure for critics, because critics really hated those movies compared to the X-Men ones. But kind of like in baseball, right? So, sometimes you strike out and sometimes you hit home runs. The X-Men series were truly a success, where fast forward, Hugh Jackman is coming back to play Wolverine. And that has to go back literally directly to decisions that 20th Century Fox made, 20 years ago. Who would have thought, that 20 years later, Wolverine is still being played by Hugh Jackman? Now, here's a little bit more inside baseball for you. You guys do realize that Hugh Jackman wasn't the guy who got cast to play Wolverine, right? It was this guy right here, Dougray Scott. So Dougray Scott was actually cast in Mission Impossible 2. And that movie went long. And 20th Century Fox was waiting and waiting and waiting. But Tom Cruise kept on shooting Mission Impossible 2. So they had to recast Wolverine. So literally weeks before production started, again, this was pre-production that started. They were pretty much ready to go. Sets were built and everything was ready to go when Hugh Jackman got the call, and Hugh Jackman accepted. I cannot imagine anyone else playing Wolverine. Again, a lot of respect to Dougray Scott. He's a good actor. I actually like him in the Taken movies, right? He was pretty good in that. Remember, he played the new husband? Yeah, got it. Okay. So, but who would have ever thought that Wolverine's success happened because Mission Impossible 2 went long? So, things happen for a reason. And now we get to see Hugh Jackman come back and play Wolverine alongside Ryan Reynolds. Will this be a new start for Logan? You know what? I have a funny feeling that he's probably back for at least a couple more movies. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. Time will tell. All right, guys, I just wanted to ramble on for a few minutes. It's Sunday morning. Go enjoy your coffee. We'll talk again later. Have a good day.